Frankie, just one game left. We're at the end of the season. How you feeling?
Kind of glad. So it's
Yeah.
probably the first time ever that it's the last game of the season, and I'm glad it's all going to be over. Normally, I'm gutted and already just depressed that there's going to be no football. But yeah, I'm quite happy. Weirdly, I think I might have said exactly the same at the end of last season. I'm happy for a break. It's just so out of character for me. Just normally want football, football, football. But yeah, just these last two seasons gets to the end and you just think, oh, could do with a bit of a break from it all.
Yeah, I'm the same. I'm looking forward to sort of Sunday evening and knowing that that's it done, finished. Hopefully, we can end with a win. Hopefully, Wolves will lose and we can finish 14th just for a bit of extra money in the kitty, I guess. But I can't say it's something I'll be celebrating. But I'm certainly pleased that there's only one game left because it's felt like a chore the last few games, isn't it? I say the last few for it's been quite a while actually. It's felt like a chore to watch it, and I would argue all season as well. Because even under Lopetegui, it was like, oh, like we're playing again, and I think that's what's the sad thing for me about this season is that like quite early on, I was already like fed up with it, and Saka Lopetegui was a bit of hope that things would improve for the second half of the season, but alas, it hasn't, unfortunately. Anyway, we do play Ipswich on Sunday. Are you looking forward to the game at all, or just not arsed in the slightest?
Yeah, that's how it feels. Just not bothered. Um, it feels like the season's already done. It felt like it came to a close at that last home game. It just feels
Yeah.
like that was it, job done. Yeah, just not really looking forward to it. I just think they're going to want to go out and give their fans something to end the season on after the season that they've had. Um, it could be quite embarrassing, actually. I'm dreading it.
But
If anything,
they've got their sort of farewell thing on Sunday now. Just before we started recording, I was just reading. They've started to McKenna's confirmed one or two players are leaving at the end of the season, and they've had big parts of this. Obviously, this season people look at as a failure for Ipswich Town, which fair enough, they've got relegated, but they've had two hugely successful seasons prior to this one, and they've played their part in getting promoted from League One, getting promoted for the Championship. So there's cause for celebration there. It's not like the same player goodbye to players who've contributed nothing. The same goodbye to players who've got them into the Premier League with back-to-back promotions. So there might be a bit of a feel-good factor around Portman Road, even if it's just for that aspect and element of it. And they'll probably do it better than we will in terms of the whole farewell thing. Since I think most people feel like the club as a whole could have handled it a bit better, or actually scrap that, a lot better than what we did with Creswell, Sufal, and Fabianski. In terms of the team, I know you're usually not too bothered, but given that it is the last game of the season, given that Sufal, Creswell, Fabianski's contracts expiring, Ferguson, Solar's loans are expiring, do you have a desire to see certain players involved or rather not involved?
I have got very little room for sentiment with this game. Um, I would much rather see what we've been saying. Basically, give us something to give us a glimmer of hope for next season. Give us something that we can get our teeth in. Give us something we can hold on to. We've had nothing all season. We've got so many people that are really unsure about how next season's going to go, whether or not Potter should even be involved in next season. I think the discussions are probably pointless. I think he's guaranteed to be here at the start of the season. So I think it's not even worth having that as a talking point anymore. But show us something. Give us a little glimmer of hope. Give us a little bit of it. I don't know, just anything to
But
hold on
what
to. I don't
is it?
even care what it is.
As we say, what is it then that he can give you? What does he have to do for you to think, good,
I'll tell you
right,
what made my stomach turn, Gio, in the preview that you and Gonzo did.
go on.
When Gonzo set his team up with five at the back, my tummy turned. I'm so done with it. I'm so finished with that nonsense. And if that's the only way that he can play football and the only thing that he can bring to us, then I'm going to really struggle. I just want us on the front foot. I want to see us play with pace. I want to see us play with our heads up. I want to see us play with a bit of excitement, really and truly, regardless of their, little farewell that they're going to have. And like you said, there's positives of they've done, they've had 2 good seasons prior to this one. We should rock up there and give it to them, to be honest with you, mate. That's what we should do. We should go there and be confident and give them a spanking. So I want to see us go there full of confidence. I want to see us go there with players who have got a point to prove. And that for me, rather than saying, right, Cresswell, you're going to have a game, right, Fabianski, you're going to start in goal, I'd much, much rather see Potter say, look, I don't know my plan for next season yet. However, every single person who plays in this match needs to show me why they should be in my plans for next season. Every one of you. And there's no guarantees. Go and show me why, how, show me commitment that you want to be here playing for West Ham and you want to be in my first 11 next season. And that's the attitude I would have. Not, well, the season's pretty much done. Let's go and say a few goodbyes, blah, blah, blah. It would be nice, wouldn't it? If we've had a really positive season, or even if it was a bit of an up and down season and we were 10th, then I'd have a little bit more sympathy for the goodbyes and everything else and say, oh, let's have their farewells. But I've had such a tough time of it. I just really want to see a level of commitment, and I want to see players really on the front foot and showing us that we've got every reason that they should be, that they should be in next season, really, mate. That's what I want to see.
Think it'll happen? Think we'll win?
I don't. I really don't. Again, it doesn't matter too much, and I understand that. And the result at the end of the day will be forgotten very quickly, and we'll go into mode of looking at who's going out the door and who's coming in. That we've got a lot of questions around that. We've got a lot of questions around Paqueta, Kudus, Fulkrug. There's so many players that we've got uncertainty of. I tell you one thing I did like though, the noise that Wasaka came out with, and saying that basically he sees West Ham as being where he's going to end his career, and he wants to move forward and drive us forward, and he wants to get us back to where we should be in European competitions and stuff like that. So I really liked that. That if there's one positive that I can have at the moment, it's the Wasaka Real Madrid story and showing his commitment and dedication to West Ham. That I did like. That was very good.
Before we move on to other topics, what's your score prediction then for Sunday?
I'm going to go 2-1 Ipswich.
Oh, crikey. You're usually the positive one, yeah.
I never predict West Ham to lose, ever. But
it's bad when that happens. Bloody hell. Anyway, there's lots of transfer rumours flying around at the minute, outgoings and incomings. But in terms of the incomings, has there been any transfer rumours that caught your eye, or is there anyone that we perhaps haven't been linked to, but you're hoping to see West Ham make a move for?
Not really. Like I said, the biggest thing that's on my list for this season, and I've been saying it for a month or so now, that what has to happen to get fans back interested, excited, enthusiastic about going to West Ham next season is this big marquee striker. And I know a lot of people in the comments have been saying that who's going to want to come to us. It's all right saying that, but who realistically will want to come and play their football at West Ham? I still always believe that we're still a desirable club, a club with history. Look, Wan-Bissaka's got it already. Turning around, he's been here for 5 minutes and he's already turning around and saying, "This is the place I want to play football." The fans, some players just get it, and the people that do get West Ham come and are forever claret and blue blood in their hearts. And I mean, the amount of times we have players, breaking down on the pitch in tears when it's their last game, whether it be James Collins or Thomas Repka or whoever it may be. We have people who just come in and just understand what West Ham's all about to us and become part of the family forever. And there are plenty of people who, will be spoken to, people like I say, that are advocates of us for, whether it be Fornals, whether it be whoever. You know, people who love West Ham, and there's a reason that happens. So I don't buy completely that nobody will want to play football at West Ham. Okay, you might have to maybe go and convince them, whether that be through the type of contract you offer them or whatever. And again, this is the argument of Tim Stuyton. Tim Stuyton got a lot of criticism for maybe offering people too bigger contracts, too bigger wage bill. Well, when you've got what we've got, i.e. the training ground that we've got, when you've got the board that we've got, who will really struggle to detail what their plan is for West Ham and get a player excited by communicating to them what their plan is, because there ain't one. The only way you can do it is by offering them a very, very juicy contract. So I don't actually have much issue with how Stuyton went about giving contracts to players.
No, neither do I.
Because I feel it's the only way you can tempt him in. Yeah. So we're going to have to go and do a very similar thing. And it's whether or not we've got someone in control of those negotiations that can do what Stuyton did, or whether he's going to be involved and will penny pinch like he always does. So I don't know. Who's Will Salthouse got on his list? That's the question. What big strikers that are going to score 15, 20 goals in the Premier League next season?
Michael Antonio, he's on Will Salthouse's list, and supposedly offered him a new deal and all that, haven't we? Makes you think. I've just listened to Jarrod Bowen. I haven't listened to Jarrod Bowen at all. I've just listened to Graham Potter's press conference. For those clever people that worked out, we're recording this just after 2:00 on Friday. You're listening to this on Saturday at the earliest. But the reason I'm just using this is because you didn't really say anything exciting or anything like that. But Jarrod Bowen's been left out of the England squad, and there was some talk that it could be because he's getting married. So on Monday, we play Ipswich Sunday. Monday, Bowen flies out to Vegas, and they don't come back till Thursday, and then he gets married Saturday. So a week today, when you're listening, is when Jarrod Bowen gets married to Danny and becomes part of the Dyer family. So there was some talk that maybe that's why he was left out of the England squad, because of things going on. But Potter got asked about it, and he didn't once suggest that that's the reason Bowen's being left out, or Bowen has perhaps asked not to be included, because there's also talk, and this was this morning before the squad was announced, that Bowen's not planned a honeymoon because he wants to be in England squad. He might be in England squad, so the honeymoon hasn't been booked yet with Danny. So I think it's a fair assumption at this point that he's just been dropped by Thomas Tuchel. Now, I've made a bet with someone, not with one of the subscribers that won't pay up, not one of those ones. The other half's granda is a Man U fan, and when I say a Man U fan, it's one of those eye roll Man U fans. He's a Man U fan, one of them, and kept saying, "Oh, Bowen's leaving." I thought he was trying to wind me up, so we made a bet that if Bowen leaves, I've got to wear a Man U shirt for a week, and if Bowen doesn't leave in the summer, he has to wear a West Ham shirt for a week. So I'm pretty confident I'm going to win. But with him being left out of the England squad, does it concern you at any point? Because I think there's now an argument that West Ham's position, if you like, has maybe impacted his England career.
Bowen has to look at his own performances in an England shirt, to be perfectly honest with you. I don't think he's looked particularly good when he's come on the pitch for England. I think he comes on and looks like an enthusiastic child when he comes on and plays for England. All run, no real thought about what he's doing. I haven't been impressed with his England performances at all. There's an argument Graham Potter plays into a lot of this with not finding his best form towards the end of the season with how he's been played. I don't think that's helped. But Bowen's got a lot going on at the moment. He's, family-wise and everything else. If family is becoming that much of a distraction for him that he's removing himself from England squads, well, that would play into a big part why he weren't quite firing all cylinders this season as well. And we can put it down to the way he was played, the position that he was played in most of the time. Not just that, but how we played football in general. It wasn't a way of playing that created many chances. So what's he supposed to do? But I just feel that actually Jarrod Bowen this season isn't the same Jarrod Bowen who would grab a game by the scruff of the neck. Even if we were not doing too much, even if we weren't creating many chances. Jarrod would always pop up and get himself a goal. He would get something out of nothing. He hasn't quite been that Jarrod Bowen this season. So, a lot of people put that onto the captaincy and saying that maybe that's not the right role for him, and maybe there's a fair argument there somewhere. But regardless, he's what I want to see from Jarrod Bowen isn't his performances returning or get back into the England squad. I need him playing at his best for West Ham United.
Yeah.
And we're going to need him next season.
That's an interesting take, because I think he deserves to be in this squad. When you look at the squad and you see Madueke in there, and I think, well, he's had a better season than Madueke, that's for sure. Arguably, he's had a better season than Anthony Gordon, but I get the Gordon inclusion. They played different positions anyway for the start. While they're both considered wingers, Gordon's on the left and Bowen's on the right. Madueke is a weird one because he's naturally a right-sided player, but has played on the left for Chelsea recently because of the way they've gone about things with Neto as well. And I thought Bowen deserved being ahead of him. But what you said about his performances in an England shirt is interesting, because it's hard to disagree with that. I'm trying to remember, because I haven't seen them all, because there's been a couple of times England have played at the same time as Scotland, so I've obviously watched that game. But
the other thing I'd say on that, Geo, is that I think it shows his removal from the squad, for me, suggests that they've got absolutely no interest or don't feel at any point that Jarrod Bowen could play down the middle for England or should go anywhere near that.
Yeah, he shouldn't. When you've got Kane, I mean, Ivan Toney's been recalled, and when you've got the likes of Ollie Watkins to select from as well, and you've got Solanke there as well, there's plenty of options for that English striker role. Bowen should and would never play up front for England. I guess that's a very good point, because Tuchel's looking at it, he's saying, well, he's a striker now at West Ham, and I don't want him as a striker. Maybe if he was playing in his normal position, then sure, I'd have him, because that's his best position, and he'd compete with Saka, but that's not where he's playing for West Ham, playing as a striker, so I'll judge him as a striker. That's a fair argument. I just thought it was interesting that he wasn't in the team, and yeah, he'll be gutted. He'll be disappointed to be left out. I felt a bit sorry for him, actually, because I do think he's had a good season with us, not as good as previously, but that's taken into consideration that he's been hampered by the role he's been asked to play under both managers, really. Interesting. Right, Frankie, I want to finish up. Fantasy League comes to an end this weekend. How have you got on?
I haven't even looked. I was tinkering in the last sort of 6 weeks as to see if I could make a late charge to try and achieve anything. And then I missed a couple of deadlines.
Yeah, I've missed a couple.
Life takes over, doesn't it? So.
Well, no, I'll tell you what done it for me. The assistant manager chip, it ruined it for me. I don't like it. I didn't give enough time or consideration, and people really work out chip strategies. Do you want to know how bad my chip strategy is? I've still got bench boost for this week. Who wants bench boost on week 30? Yeah, but who wants that? I'm looking at my squad. I'm thinking I can make one free transfer. I'm like, well, some of these players won't play because it's like the end of the season. So I'm going to have players on my bench that won't even be in the game. I've really messed it up, and I've solely put it down to the assistant manager chip, because when all that was going on and I had Moyes and I switched over to Glasner, I think it was, and they did okay. The points returns for my managers weren't too bad, but I don't know. I just didn't like it. It's too complicated for me. I just like to pick my 11 and give someone the captain's armband. That's it. So when the assistant manager chip came in, it just confused matters. I wouldn't mind if it was
facing week 1 as well. Do you remember our question that Haaland was the obvious choice for the triple captain, and we both didn't do it?
Bottled it. We both bottled it.
Weren't we?
Smashed in a hat trick. I ended up playing a triple captain for Isak when he had a double header, I think, I can't remember. He scored, but he scored, I think, 1 goal, and it was so I really messed it up. But anyway, good luck to Kevin, Thomas, and Tom, because they're the top 3 currently in the Geo and Frankie League on Fantasy League, and they've all got a chance. Thomas Kieran had a really good week last week, so he's taking the lead from Thomas, who was leading. So the three of them are sort of battling out to see who wins our little league on there. I think I'm 18th in the league, which is not good. I'm not happy, but I'm hoping to bin off this chip for next season, and I can come back with a vengeance and win some fancy leagues. But yeah. Anyway, crap season. Hashtag Geo out. I've not done well. I've just lost interest a little bit. Missed a couple of deadlines. Made some bad transfers, and that stupid assistant manager Chip can do one. I am not a fan of it. I wouldn't mind if it was a set period, like everyone had picked an assistant manager for these 3 weeks or something. But nah, not for me. Anyway, Frankie, anything else you want to add before we disappear?
No, I just want to say, Geo, though, obviously people know of my involvement down at Cray Wanderers. We had a young girl named Frankie who plays for the ladies at Cray Wanderers. She was tackled. Bit of a nothing challenge, really. Nothing was seen that bad. She basically went down after the challenge, ended up being unconscious. She was rushed to hospital. She actually ruptured her kidney, and she got rushed for a major operation. She's now in intensive care. She was basically bleeding to death internally after just a normal challenge on a football pitch. So she's in a really, really bad way. There is a Just Giving for her at the moment that people are trying to sort of get behind and support her family while she's having her operations and in hospital. So while I don't expect anybody to necessarily donate, because it won't be as personal as some of the West Ham things that go on, there are a lot of stories that are going around, a lot of messages that are going around, and if anybody can relate to that, and if anybody can sort of get on board in any way of helping out the causes that are out there for at the moment, then it would be massively appreciated.
The link to the GoFundMe will be in the video description, pin comments as well, so it's easy to find. Just scroll down, it'll be in big letters. So if you can donate a couple of quid, that would be. But best of luck to it. Obviously, I didn't know that. This is first for people listening. It's first I've heard of it as well. Bless you. Yeah, not good. It's a bit harsh, but is she going to be okay? Do you think, or is it
at the moment? Yeah, it's very, very touch and go at the moment. Nobody really knows. This just such a freak injury. Yeah. Just for a tackle like that to rupture your kidney is just
I hope the person that made the tackle is okay as well, because you often forget about that person because they've just made a perfectly good tackle, and now they've got to live with it that they've put someone like in intensive care and possibly not going to make it. So I hope, fingers crossed that they both are okay. But anyway, thank you very much for joining us. If you enjoyed this podcast, please do drop a like on the video by clicking thumbs up. Subscribe to Hammers Chat. Myself and Frankie will catch up with you next week, where we have a look back at the Ipswich game if anything happens. If it is a boring game, we won't discuss it. But what we'll be doing is putting Frankie on the spot with a good old-fashioned tier list, because we love a tier list here at Hammers Chat. We love a good mass debate. So we'll be getting Frankie involved for a good mass debate next week. We'll catch you then.